impact of the community to the broader Victorian community. And the results show that Victorians overwhelmingly value the contributions of the Indian community and believe they positively enhance all aspects of Victorian life. Regardless of age and gender, more than half of Victorian respondents said they regularly interact with the Indian diaspora across different areas. They are aware of the unparalleled skill set that Indian migrants bring across key economic sectors of interest to this state. Skill sets that respondents said should be capitalised on by the Victorian Government to transform their soft power potential and engage in policies relevant to improving the bilateral economic relationship. And it is credit to the Victorian Government that it has already placed such great value on nurturing the deep people-to-people ties in this state, promoting travel and tourism for Indian visitors, attracting Indian international students, and supporting the skilled migration of Indian professionals. There has never been a better time for the Australia-India relationship, with the bonds between our two nations skyrocketing. And I think the findings show it has even sparked interest amongst the younger generations of Victorian residents to learn more about India and the Indian diaspora from public and cultural events and social interactions, and indeed through the work of the Australia-India Institute. However, this report also does reveal the gaps that need to be addressed, and one being the lack of visibility of the Indian diaspora in leadership positions. So there is more work to be done. If we are planning on promoting a more inclusive Victoria, we need conclusive findings such as that of this report to better understand this burgeoning part of the Victorian community and shape those policy discussions into the future. Our Indian diaspora plays such an invaluable role in driving forward the economic, social and political trajectory of this state, and this is the opportune moment to capitalise on the global spotlight on India and advance discussions on how this bilateral relationship can really be a force for positive change. So on that note, whilst I'll ask you to find copies of the report at the back of the room, I will now ask one of the co-authors of this report, and it gives me great pleasure to invite her as our academic fellow of the Institute, Dr. Surjeet Dhanji, to come and share her.
Afternoon. I too acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, short people. Council General Sushil Kumar, Mr. Rob Holland, distinguished guests, and my fellow colleagues. I'm thrilled to stand in front of you today at the launch of the Victorians' Perceptions on India and the Indian Diaspora, a 2-year project. In many ways, a novel project, the first of its kind, that complements other reports on the Indian diaspora. We started this project in 2022 with the initial talks between Karen and Honourable Lisa Singh, and worked with a survey steering committee comprising Head of International, Department of Premier and Cabinet, Dhanji Zhu, members of Global Victoria, Michelle Wade, Commissioner, South Asia, Bangalore, Victorian Multicultural Commission, and Department of Family Fairness and Housing members. Also part of the steering committee were our partners, Melbourne Institute, Applied Economics and Social Research, Professor Abigail Payne, who can't be with us today, but is represented by the Deputy Director of Melbourne Institute, Professor Gui Lim, and Dr. Kushnil Prakash, Faculty of Finance and Business, University of Melbourne. The steering committee met monthly initially and was chaired by our own CEO of Australia-India Institute, Honourable Lisa Singh. The survey questionnaire was administered by Melbourne Institute's Roy Morgan collaboration on taking the pulse of the nation's survey platform. The sample target group, as Lisa says, over 2,532 Victorian respondents from urban, regional and rural Victoria aged 80 and over took part. To ascertain whether we had a representative sample, we also triangulated data with the ABS census data, with 20 semi-structured online interviews with international students, skilled Indian migrants, and with leaders of the diaspora, as well as Australian companies that employ Indian international students and graduates for deeper insights. A huge thank you to all of you. Honourable Lisa Singh, Dr. Haripriya Rangan, Professor Abigail Payne, Dr. Kushnil Prakash, thank you for your time and support for the feedback in finalising the report.